the styles are sometimes inexplicable, but they know that once it catches on, it spreads like wildfire. That's because there is this tendency within people to lack self-confidence, to want to be assured by others that they are in style, they are in vogue, they are up on the newest and the best developments. And it is very, very sad. I mean, the only thing that resembles it is really the emperor's new clothes. And you know that famous fairy tale that the tailors told the king that we can make wonderful garments, but the garments are so special, only people of great intelligence can see them. And the king says, oh yes, I'm very interested in such a set of clothes. And the day comes, and they put it on the king. They put it on the king. Of course, the king can't see anything, because the king sees he's standing there in his gachkas. And the king is convinced that he's wearing these beautiful clothes, and he's embarrassed to say that he can't see them because he must not be on a level of intelligence. And they stage a parade that he's going to walk through the city parading his new clothes, and everyone is going to really think they're great. Of course, no one can see the clothes because the clothes don't exist. And finally, some little kid says, why does the king walk around in his underwear? And it dawns on him that the whole thing is a farce. The king is not wearing any clothes. And that's really the reality. The reality is that the purveyors of style, of popular culture, really are spreading something which is empty, something of nothingness. And they know that people are going to buy into it and say, oh, I must have it. This is beautiful, this is artistic, this is suave, this is cool, this is whatever it is. And they're going to buy into it. Now, I'm not a prude. And I'm also not a person who rejects any non-Jewish cultural phenomenon. But I think there's a distinction between the high culture of a society and the low culture of a society. There are works of great beauty and great artistic merit that are produced and have been produced over the centuries. And I think that a Jew should feel comfortable partaking of them and enjoying them, etc. But I think that a lot of what is produced at the very popular level is really the emperor's new clothes. It's total emptiness. And again, people are laughing all the way to the bank because they've been able to persuade people that this is something they should want and they should want to purchase. A person has to be able to stand on his own 2 feet, levado, and say that I am my own person. Now there's a halach in the Torah. The Torah says, Lo seilchu b'chukas hagai, that a Jew is not allowed to follow in the statutes of the Gentile world. And the question is, how do you define this? So the poskim and the halachic decisors basically say that there are 2 criteria. One is any ritual which is associated with idolatry, the Jew can't practice. That is really straightforward. In other words, the most fundamental principle of Torah is the rejection of idolatry. So anything which is associated with avodah zarah, with idol worship, with false religions, obviously there's no place in Jewish life. So, for example, a Jew cannot put up a Christmas tree, even if he calls it a Hanukkah bush. It's an observance which is associated with Christianity, which, from a Jewish perspective, is a polytheistic, idolatrous religion. So we don't embrace their practices. That goes without saying. What about things that aren't associated with avodah zarah? There's a famous responsum from the Marid. We were writing in Italy several hundred years ago. In those days, doctors, when they walked in the street, used to wear special garments that people could tell they were doctors. In other words, you couldn't call 911 in those days. If you needed a doctor, how would you tell who the doctor is? But they wore special coats. So he was asked, can a Jewish doctor wear that type of coat? So he said, of course. So why? He's not wearing that coat to conform to Gentile practice. He's wearing it for the same reason the Gentiles wear it, to be identified as a doctor. So let's say, for example, when it rains, the Gentiles carry umbrellas. We say, no, a Jew has to get wet. No, a Jew can carry an umbrella too. The Goyim carry umbrellas. Not silly. Because we're not doing it to model ourselves after them or to conform to their practice. For the same reason they carry umbrellas, not to get wet. We carry umbrellas not to get wet. That's perfectly fine. But if the practice is inexplicable, If it's inexplicable, if it makes no sense, there's no reason why you should do it, then why are you doing it? Only to conform that you can't do. I'll give you an example. I really hold this sincerely. You know, when people graduate high school or university, so they put on a mortarboard, a square hat with a tassel. Because I don't think that a Jew is allowed to do that. It's my personal feeling. So, because why? Tell me, why does graduating high school or university call for wearing a square hat? No one knows.
What's wrong with a square hat?
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing right with it. Why do it? In other words, what is the idea that you graduate, you conclude a stage of your education, so now you have to wear a flat, square board on your head? Ask anybody. That's the style. So if a Jewish school decides to do it, why are they doing it? Because this is what everyone does. That type of conformity, that's the Issur Chukas HaGai.
But this leads to a bigger question. That traditional Hasidic and Ashkenaz clothing...
100%. No, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know the answer to this question. Forget traditional Hasidic garments. What about the garments we wear?
Tie and jacket.
Who said that a necktie, right, makes you look handsome? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know the answer to that question. Pardon?
It saves your shirt from spills and...
No, that's what I would have said. But you know, if you're wearing a $10 shirt and a $100 tie, right, you'd be better off with the shirt, right? Secondly, the shirt can be laundered, and the tie can't. So the tie certainly is not there to protect the shirt.
But how do you decide to draw the line at mortarboards versus shtreimels?
Yeah, I don't answer the question. I think the shtreimel is not problematic now, because now the only people who wear it are Hasidim. So I think, but when it started, it might have been a question. Then it was the style of the Cossacks to wear was fur hats. I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know. But I think that when you do a practice just for the sake of conformity, right, that's the issue. Because we have to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. We don't have to do something just because everyone else does it. That's the ideal of Levado, and that's the idea that Dina apparently violated in the parsha. There's a lot more to be said on this parsha, but I'll just tell you one last thing. It's a very interesting thing. Chazal say, when Yaakov Avinu came to the city of Shechem, it says, Vayichan es pnei ha'ir, which literally means he camped before the city. And Chazal have a different interpretation. Vayichan means he gave a gift to the city.